guys, it's Luke and Jordan with the Full Rudder fishing team, and we're here to just recap our tournament down in Morehead City. But first we wanted to thank some of our sponsors that make all this possible.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Icon Coolers for keeping all our food and drinks cold while we're on the boat and on the road. I want to give a shout out to Unsinkable Polarized Glasses, keeping us geared out with these awesome lenses, helping us see the fish, and if they fall off your head, they float, so gotta love these guys.
Yeah, also got a shout out to Fathom for keeping us in stock of all these awesome soft plastics, hooks, you know, some headgear and shirts as well. Maritime Insurance International, they've been really helpful as far as keeping the boat insured from everything we do at home and also on the road. Bayou Classic, they provide our awesome cooking gear. When you see us do stuff on the road like shrimp and chorizo tacos or crab boil back home, everything's done on Bayou Classic. Reef for providing awesome footwear and some shirts and stuff, but mainly those sandals, the Reef ones, and the deckhand shoes have been awesome for us. And then Eastern Metalworks, who provides a lot of awesome gear to harvest our own food while we're here, from clam rakes to gigs to gigging lights, all that good stuff.
Yeah, also for keeping us comfy on the boat, we got to give a shout out to High Tide Canvas and Upholstery right here in Wilmington, doing a great job with canvas and upholstery work for your boat. And of course, AFTCO for all the awesome fishing shirts, the long sleeve hoodies, the zippers, you know, fishing shorts are insane too. Just great gear for keeping you out of the sun when you're on the boat.
Recap. So this is the recap of our tournament out of Morehead City. It's the Carolina Redfish Elite Tournament put on by Matt Lamb, Chasing Tails, and a bunch of good folks up that way. Ended up in 10th place, which wasn't bad. Not complaining. We cut a check, but had hoped to do a little bit better.
Yeah, we were on some good fish, pre-fishing. This was a 2-day tournament, so it's a little extra challenging because you got to get them to bite 2 days in a row, and you got to deal with 2 different days of weather. And so the first day of the tournament was Friday, and it was blowing, what, 25, 30 knots southwest by 5 a.m. And so we were all gathered with all the other anglers in our boats right there at the Morehead City waterfront. And, you know, just I think everybody was on pins and needles about the weather just because we knew it was going to be a rough ride. And, yeah, sure enough, for us, it was a rough ride.
Yeah, we broke a lot of stuff. So I think we all, like he said, we all knew what was happening. I went ahead the day before, I just accepted the fact that we were going to get our teeth beat out the next day. We ended up taking out Saturday morning. Like Jordan said, it's real rough. Everyone knows it's blowing, and it's been blowing, hasn't stopped. And we're gonna run south across Bogue Sound, and Bogue Sound is very large and not protected. So I'm just gonna summarize what happened in the course of 25 minutes. The cowling popped off the big motor twice, so we had to stop and put it back on, and I mean it was rough in there. The power poles deployed going full speed in the chop.
We looked back and we realized we lost our back seat cushion.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I guess that was it that we realized had happened. But so then we just kind of took the beating. I mean, aside from that, it felt like I was going to break a vertebrae in my lower back, but did not. Survived, made it to the fish. Luke immediately has like 2-3 fish on the line. We're getting them in the live well, and we already had water in the live well from the high-speed pickup when we were running, so we didn't really realize, but the live well pump was out with some other electronics.
But when we pulled up, I flipped the live well switch on, and it was pumping. But what had happened was the back of the switch, one of the tabs on the back of the switch snapped, and I guess it was just resting on it, and it was working.
Yeah.
And then once we had moved around or something, and I clicked a switch, it had come off.
So basically, the chop had broke some of the wiring on the switches, and they're all pigtailed together. So one of them goes out, and then you lose several
some
things.
Stuff. Yeah, ended up rewiring. I got, like Jordan said, I popped 3 fish pretty quick. Like first 10 minutes, we had 3 fish and 2 in the live well. They weren't big fish though; they were pretty small. So we were hoping to upgrade. But then I had to spend 30+ minutes under the console, like rewiring stuff to get my aerator to work at least. So Jordan could spend the rest of the day showering the fish.
Yeah, so
with
I
water.
spent the rest of the day we got the aerator to work, and then I dumped out one of these Tupperwares that we use to keep our soft plastics in. I dumped out one of these and supplied water while we were sitting still to the fish with this thing. Obviously, when we were running, the high-speed pickup would fill up the tank.
So Jordan was our live well, and then we had an aerator to keep oxygen.
I was
in
the water boy, literally. I brought Luke cold water while he catch fish, and then I brought water to the fish to keep them alive.
Yeah. So it was a wild first day. We ended up not catching any big fish that day. Didn't even see any really big fish. But for a split second, we saw a good school. I was locked in on 5 or 6 different schools beforehand. We had done a lot of pre-fishing, and it just seemed like when it came around to it, the bigger fish were there probably. They had just kind of moved around. It was hard to find them with that chop and that wind.
Well, and once the tide dropped out past, 10 a.m., we really just didn't even have any spots that we could get to where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
So our fishing window was really limited on Friday morning.
About 3 hours probably.
Yeah.
3 hours.
And so we had 3 hours, 5 spots, and after that, we just didn't have any good spots for dead low tide. And then we started making our trek back to the scales. And not only was it raining all morning and windy, the skies just opened up, downpouring all afternoon. And
thunder and lightning
all
wind
over
and
us.
rain. Yeah.
And cold. And of course, I didn't bring all my rain gear. Oh well. I feel like I've learned that lesson twice now.
Hopefully you'll remember next time.
But then the day is capped off with a fuel issue about 20 minutes from the scales.
At Bogue Sound.
Bogue Sound again.
We're in Bogue Sound again. It's also rough again because it's still blowing. And somehow the motor just stopped getting fuel pressure. I've yet to diagnose the problem, but pretty sure I'm just not getting gas all the way through the carbs somewhere. It's leaking from one of the carbs.
So I called into the tournament director, Matt, and told him, we're on our way back to the scales. We've got 2 fish to weigh in. We know they're not tournament winners, but after the day we've had, we want to weigh in our 2 fish to at least, get on the board. And we hadn't really seen any anglers except Jeff Kronk like about 30 minutes prior to this moment.
Which we had passed him and while he was stopping, I guess, to fish a dock or something. And then we stopped to fish something, so he passed us. And then we're coming up to through Bogue Sound, and we break down. Must have been like 200 yards away from him, pretty close to him.
Yeah, we could see the Atlantic Beach Bridge in the distance, so we weren't far from downtown Morehead City. And Matt said, just wave down one of the other anglers. They're not all here.
Yeah.
Like not even 5 minutes later.
Not even. Yeah.
I put the phone down. Luke's got the cowling off the motor. He's trying to diagnose why we're not getting enough fuel. And here comes Jeff Kronk out of nowhere. He is super nice. Him and his angler partner, they get us in their boat. We put our fish in a separate live well on his boat.
Anchor up the boat.
Jump in with them, and we get to the scales.
Yeah.
And so that's day one.
So day one, we survived, and that was like my goal for day one.
To not die.
I was like, if we don't die day one, then we've done something. Basically, it's just about keeping the equipment together today and not dying.
Yeah.
And we did. And this is what we threw all day with the Fathom Tattletale. And I kid you not, every fish I caught in this tournament, I probably caught close to 20 fish between the 2 days.
Yeah.
And this is what I used every time.
On a weedless.
On a weedless. So this guy right here.
Like a 4-aught or probably a 4-aught, right?
Yeah, exactly. On a 4-aught weedless. And I wasn't using the belly weighted like this. This is the belly weighted weedless. I was actually using one with the nose weight. So it's like a Texas rig style. So it's got the weight up front, like where the head of the lure should be, and then it's got the the weedless hook that comes in. I threw these tattletales in every color that we had. This one is blue steel. I really like this one. Looks like a mullet. But I also use the chartreuse a lot.
Blue ones.
Just whatever. These just put off a really good vibration in the water. And they're rigged weedless, so if you're fishing over a lot of grass like we were, just makes your day a little easier.
But that wasn't the end of day one. So, yeah, we got to the scales, and then, we actually did okay. We were in 10th at the end of the day because half the field didn't even weigh in 2 fish.
Which
so then
is
we
understandable. because of the weather.
Because of the conditions. But then we had to decide, all right, how are we going to stay in this for the final day on Saturday when our boat is seemingly broken?
Yeah.
Do we want to stay up all night, try to diagnose it, and then chance it? So we put in a call to my neighbors back home in Wilmington. They got my boat out of the water, put it on the trailer, had it sitting in the yard, keys in it, electronics on it, ready to go. Then Luke called his dad. His dad picked up the trailer not less than 30 minutes after they got out of the water, and started heading towards Jacksonville. We ended up, after the weigh-in, we drove down to Jacksonville, gave him Luke's old boat. Gave him Luke's boat. Gave him the Hughes, swapped boats for the Bay Rider, and then we, did some limited rigging, ate some pizza, went to sleep, and, hit it the next day. And, of course, the next day was beautiful.
Slick glass.
Slick glass.
Almost all day. I mean, there was a little breeze in the middle of the day.
It was a little cooler in the morning.
Yeah, it felt good to me.
It was like 70 degrees, light northwest winds. Maybe not so light, but there were west-northwest winds all day.
So Bogue Sound was slick.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
It was like a whole nother world the next day.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that when my dad picked up the boat, and I just learned this, but he had already dropped his car off to get a brake job done. So he had to call the guy, go get the car from getting a brake job, then come over here and pick it up. And then take it back to the dude when he got back to get the brake job.
Yeah, so we just need to say thank you to Mark Tippett, to my neighbors,
all your neighbors.
Nevin and Dwayne for pulling the boat out of the water, and Jeff Kronk for towing us or actually bringing us to the scales. Alan Jernigan and Jason Dale for towing us back to the ramp after weigh-in. I mean, we had a lot of people help us out. I mean, just to make this little, run at a 10th place finish. Right. Hey,
I will
sometimes
say,
perseverance is kind of, it's just fun to survive it and stick with it, I guess.
And I will say, this is a story that happens every Redfish tournament. I mean, something happens with someone, but there's always like 5 people willing to help out. So that's a very cool thing about the Redfish community. Most people are there to help you out. No one wants to see you lose because you broke down in the middle of the sound. Someone's going to come pick you up and help you. So that's pretty cool.
I say that my favorite part of the tournament, and I'm kind of new at this compared to Luke, obviously, but my favorite part is the camaraderie and the sense of community with the other anglers and people involved with the event.
Right. Yeah.
But so day 2, we took the Bay Rider, totally different boat. It's like my family boat / crabbing boat / fishing boat.
Yeah,
but
it does everything well.
Yeah, but it's a big flat bottom boat. It's a lot slower. It's a little more cumbersome in tiny creeks. It gets really shallow, but it's it's just a bigger footprint than
it's a barge. Yeah, it's a barge.
It is. It's an awesome boat. I love it, but it was just different fishing on that compared to. It's not a tournament boat, traditionally speaking.
Sure.
And
but it worked.
But we did get back to the fish. We had a little bit better fish because this time Luke stuck, some overslot fish that if they were literally a hair shorter would have really put us in the running. Yeah. But it was a little more of the same. The fish we were after just weren't there.
They popped up one time. Stuck. Probably had caught quite a few, 4, 5, 6 fish beforehand, and then all of a sudden I see the school rise up of the nicer fish, and you can tell it's them because they're putting off a decent wake and pitch in there and hook up first cast. Had one fall off the bank and slurp it, and then the school popped up even higher and started boogieing and never saw them again, and they just disappeared. Don't know what to say about those.
And
fish.
We stuck with our plan. We did our 5 or so spots again, and once again, we had a little more tide because the tide was an hour later,
more tide.
And the wind helped the tide a little more. But 5 spots, and then
dinks,
and then we were pushing it.
So in summary, day 2 fishing was good. Caught a good number of fish, but it wasn't the fish we were looking for. We found a lot of smaller fish again. Busted that one good fish out of that bigger school. But, we just never really got onto the bigger fish, and the ones we found just wouldn't eat. So then we had to book it back.
Yeah, I mean, day 2 we were using my boat, like I said, and it's a little slower than Luke's, which we usually fish. So we were really pushing it for time and the amount of travel that we had to cover. Also, it's Saturday, so there's tons of boat traffic on the water. Mm-hmm. And, people on Saturday don't know how to drive. So we're manufacturing. I don't know what we're manufacturing.
Yeah.
We're So yeah, I'll just start off with we're on the boat, tons of boat traffic.
That's fine.
So yeah, we're on a slower boat day too, and we had to cover a lot of ground, and it was Saturday, so there's tons of boat traffic out on the water, and just trying to cover a lot of ground and get back in time to the scales. We had to be back by 3 p.m. and so we started booking back, and we obviously wanted to try to stop at a couple spots and see if we could pull off an upgrade. We knew it was going to be close. We stopped at maybe one spot.
One spot.
We stopped at one spot where we caught fish.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, during pre-fishing, maybe 10 minutes, but yeah, it really made it close. So as we were approaching that Atlantic Beach Bridge again in Bogue Sound, our nemesis for this trip, we felt like there was that big tall bridge in the distance, it just wasn't getting closer. And we just knew, if we could make it to the bridge with 10 minutes to spare, we could get to Big Rock Landing in time to get to the scales. I mean, we had 2 fish. Obviously we wanted to weigh in since it was, we endured a lot over the 2 days, and a lot of guys did as well. So, we definitely just wanted to weigh in our fish and see if we could land in the money somehow.
Yeah, we just wanted to finish at that point. We had survived Bogue Sound. We didn't keep all our gear in order, but we had another boat. We did a lot of stuff to just be able to finish. Yeah. So we just wanted to weigh those 2 fish in, and like he said, it felt like the bridge was running away from us as we were going in. But we made it back with about 15 minutes to spare. Pulled right in behind our buddies Jason and Alan, and those guys actually ended up taking first place in the tournament. They ended up winning.
Yeah.
We weighed in our fish just about an identical sack to the day before, about 8.5 pounds. First day we had just over 8 pounds. So nothing that I was super stoked on. But we weighed our 4 fish in. We ended up cutting a check in 10th place, just same place we finished after day 1. So we were consistent through the 2 days. So I was happy with that. But obviously we were bummed that we didn't do a little better. I had a little higher expectations, but to be able to come away with a little money to fix the boat, I wasn't mad.
Cover expenses a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the second IFA event out of Georgetown, South Carolina. That's going to be July 20th, I believe. And that's out of the same landing in Georgetown as last time. Really like the fishery down there. Never done that in July, though. So that'll be interesting. Midsummer heat and redfish. We'll see what happens there, but looking forward to it, obviously.
Yeah, it's a fun place to fish. We've got some friends that put us up down there, so it's a fun time for us. We'll be definitely cooking some shrimp and chorizo tacos.
Everywhere we go.
Having some good camaraderie there in Georgetown. Yeah, we caught a lot of fish last time we were there, so I'm looking forward to at least catching a lot of fish, having a good time. Hopefully we can find the right fish. Yeah. I don't know. Like Luke said, with it being so warm out, we don't know if it's going to change the pattern. Last year we fished there in the spring and in the fall. And so it'll be interesting to see what it's like there in the middle of summer.
We'll find out. We'll see y'all guys next time.
All right. See you guys.